Okay, cool. So let's see. Let's start with the charts of the big guys. Bitcoin. Let's put it on daily so we can start. Beautiful, beautiful opportunity. And we have the big guys here, which is SPY, DIA, QQQ. Beautiful formations today. So here I'm gonna put the daily so we can see where we are. Dailies, dailies, and dailies. Okay, I got all the dailies here with the three markets. So basically, thank you guys for joining us here on the market update. Let's talk about what's happening in the market right now. Let's talk about what are the implications of today's decision on keeping the interest rates at the same rate. And I guess it's a good discussion to have because I think it was great news for the economy and really bad news for those big millionaires that they're trying to price in what's happening with the interest rates going down. I think the market, the economy is going really well, and the job market keep going strong. Now, remember, the stock market is not the economy. It's just a representation of investor sentiment at the moment with earnings and stuff like that, right? So don't forget about that. The market, if you take a look on the big time frames, big upsides, we're all the way up this point. So anything, you can call this point anything. You know, whatever the point is, if it was COVID, if it was a catastrophe, whatever, you will say just in technicals, we're just above that point, so we're completely all the way up on yearly candles. We're like completely great, right? Obviously we're traders and we get a little bit upset, or we get a little bit of concern when we have these pullbacks, going down below the 34. We always feel that when he goes below the 34. And when it goes below the 144, which is the longer term, we feel more uncomfortable, right? Like, oh my God, it's such a route. It's always going down. And then when he starts coming back up, then he cuts us off guard, or we always, because if you think about it, the market and the oscillation of the market is just so simple that you go, hey, I feel that it's going down and I feel the pressure. And then it gives you a little bit of hope, right? And you go like, oh, nice hope. Oh my God, yeah, let's see a pullback. And oh no, we lost it. Okay, now, so now I'm down on my portfolio that I bought here. And then, oh my God, and I feel down and it's not working. And again, and then they do that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you feel awful. You go like, oh my God, it's not working. When you get this breakouts right here, you feel that it's hopeless to start thinking that it's positive and it's actually we're going up. You always think, I've been in this vacation, I've been in this season, I've been in these holidays that I go, this is not working on a long term. And then when these things happen, you go, nah, that's not gonna work. Why? Because I'm in that season. I'm in the season of not believing that this thing is actually breaking out. So it takes you off guard. By the time you take these highs, you go, I think this is it. I think this is the right moment to start buying and buying and buying and buying. And all of a sudden you go and try to push as much, money here. Let's see. I think someone was, I think it's on the headquarters, right? So just going and going. And then all those pullbacks, like, I knew it, I was wrong. And then you don't let that breathe out, right? Let that go into the right direction where it goes. So this moment is really hard to make decisions for the traders, right? But it's really easy to take decisions from the investors, right? Because the investor is like, actually give me lower price. If you think about it, and on the weekly moments in history, you go, hey, anytime you visit the 144 on weekly, buy my portfolio. You call your hedge funds, you call your analyst, you call your broker in Fidelity, you call your broker in Schwab and say, hey, dude, John, whatever it is, hey, you remember my portfolio? Even if it's a small portfolio of 40K, 50K, and the guy, hey, can you put some into the market? Sure, I will do it. Perfect. Hey, we got COVID, we got some opportunities. Can you put it as soon as we get above that 144 on the weekly, please? Sure, I will put it up. When you go all the way up here, there's no opportunities. There's just upside and upside and upside. When you call your broker and say, hey, what's going on? You haven't bought anything from 2020 all the way up to 2022. You know, like you haven't added to my portfolio. What's going on? I need my money back, or you're not doing the right job. Your broker is going to say, I haven't had any opportunities. It's just your money is growing. As soon as we get an opportunity and we follow and we find these areas, we'll accumulate. Say, hey, we're bouncing and we're in this area. How long it took you on this area? Maybe June to June, right? June to June, like one whole year. And at that point, you said, hey, get those opportunities. Buy me those opportunities. Buy me those opportunities and buy me those opportunities. So imagine if this is a whole portfolio, and forget about the name. Imagine it's your portfolio and the broker is saying, there's no opportunity yet. Maybe it's coming. But right now we stay put. We're just growing and growing our portfolio. But in your whole life of your portfolio, you've had many opportunities in 2012, 16, 19, COVID. And then the COVID was, hey, when you are flying a kite, I always like to give this example. You're flying a kite very well, like this, and your kite falls. What do you want? You want to try to push as much as you can, and you want to take it to the same level it fell. But you said, hey, maybe those winds are going to take me down again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it as far as I can, because those winds are hard and they're going to bring me down to the spot that I lost, my kite. So this is all Fed related moves, and say, hey, we're going to help the economy. We're going to inject money. We're going to give out to those that cannot produce. And they make mistakes, those mistakes of giving to people money and they're not doing anything at home and stuff like that. We're not going to get into that conversation because that will be some political stuff, but it's an issue. We don't want to become, this is all capitalism, right? Like we don't want to be on the communist side and say, hey, everybody gets money because you cannot work and stuff like that. We all like capitalism, right? And we want to make our own money. So Fed is like push, but I need to push as much as possible because we definitely going to test these levels to see if this is actually a good upside, right? So great opportunities in the market, in my opinion, looks tremendous. It looks amazing. If you think about it, no opportunities yet to add up into your portfolios. It might give you some opportunities when it falls down to this levels and it gives you that upside. You say, hey, yeah, blast, but we don't want this drawdown. We don't want to lose the 500. We want to keep those 500 and try to push to the upside. Hey, sometimes that's what he needs to do. Sometimes that's what charts do. They break a level and then they test it. Not necessarily needs to happen. Look at this. When we broke this level, it's not that we needed to test. Hey, as much as they can, because they might come back to test this level, right? So I think there's a great opportunity on the short term, not on the long term, but on the short term. And you can find opportunities out there with companies that come up with great earnings, like MKR, stuff like that you have to go through the whole money or not money, but earnings, how they doing. And if they're doing something different, they found a bottom and they go into the upside. We got that Google that it's going crazy. It's non-stopping because Google has all our information. And imagine Google, I think Google, if you think about it, AI for Google is so easy because they're going to say, hey, I've been learning from you since day one. whatever you search, what time you search, what you search, why you take pictures, what you take pictures, at what time of the day you take pictures, how do you speak, what do you order, all that stuff. It's on Google, right? The other one will be Amazon, because we have those orders, and I know what you order, I know when you order, I have all your information. So AI for Amazon will be like in an instant. I have all your data. It's so easy, right? So we need to pay attention to those. Look at the opportunities on Amazon through the years, So imagine having this kind of opportunities to the downside, right? Downside, beautiful downside on weekly. So I'm putting weekly because I want to feel like this is the safety net that I want to take opportunities. Look at these opportunities. When they bought this, something went off, right? And he said, hey, this is not an opportunity. This is an actual move on 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a correction. Huge correction that took Amazon from, this November 2021, when the Russia war started. Same thing when started here on November the 2021, right? Like around here, I guess, right? Let me see. Amazon. They had a split. So this is kind of like where it started everything, right? So it's kind of like that momentum with the market. You want to compare how it's comparing to the market. Make sure you have your charting system, like a trading view, and make sure you have like TC2000, or you can have Fidelity or TD Ameritrade and stuff like that. But make sure how to use it. It's not about phone all the time. And I think on my phone it will be fine. You can add up so much information here that you can just say, hey, what if I put not SPY but maybe QQQ on top of this chart, and show me how what the relevancy on both sides. Are this bouncing at the same time? Are this going into the same direction? Amazon is actually completely what the market is doing. But if let's put that AMKR again, this is how the market is doing on the monthly side. So it's kind of like the market is outperforming this one. So it's a lagging company that you can take advantage and say, hey, this thing is actually very cheap compared to what could be. That's why you have the ratings, from the analysts. That the one that I love is the overweight. The overweight, it's kind of like saying, like you're overweight, but I think you can perform really well if you can shed some pounds. That's exactly what it is. So it's, if you have an overweight condition on a company, it's actually saying you are really good, but hey, you need to shed some pounds. You need to cut on the cost. You need to work on your operational margin. It's not about just making bread, selling bread. So be on the lookout for that. Now on the SPY, and let's talk about and let's just go back to what it is. Let's put out what we like, which is the 144, the 34, and the 8 EMA. We had that crossover on the 34, so we've been on a very bearish route, right? We try to regain the T line, we couldn't grip, but we just fell down, right? So it's been very hectic for these guys to reclaim it. We try to reclaim it again, and there's not actually sticking. So we've had some opportunities, but it's not sticking. Today, we had a great opportunity. We were about to close around 508, 507, and he completely shut off and gave you the doji indecision. We don't know. Those guys on 1 hour, you could see that it was like amazing 1 hour. The guy stopped talking and he completely went down. And I was explaining this to a student earlier today. That's it, because he said, hey, this thing is amazing. It's actually going so high. We're like, should we buy? And I said, look, you have to understand what happened here. What happened here is that you open here at this moment. Forget about this, because this is so small compared to what happened here. And you will see what I'm saying. Forget about what happened in the morning, because this is what made the whole movement of the chart. So it opened here and it closed there, right? And this is how low it went. So we go like this. And this is how high it went. So it went like that. And it went all the way up high and it closed. This is the body of the candle. So it's a whole doji. But where is the doji on this candle? It's not in the middle, right? It's all the way in the bottom. So we still have bearishness on this shooting star, right? So the shooting stars, something like goes up and it comes back down. But this one is a shooting star on the downside. So he's actually saying, hey, I want to go there, but I don't have the people. I don't have the my friends that are going to help me to the upside. So if you go back into the daily, that's exactly what happened on the charts. That's the candle. So we're still below the T line. So the T line is the 8 EMA, which we like to call the birth of the trade, right? So in the 15 minutes, look at how I close below the T line. And let me erase here. How I close below the T line here in this spot, right? I close here and I try to go up and went down, right? So this is yesterday and this is today. And look at how yesterday we closed below the T line. We were reclaiming the T line. We lost it. We close below and we open below, right? And we try to reclaim it and we stay on the same side, right? So it's a doji shooting star trying to reclaim this T line, right? And you can see it here. Look, close below, and we stay below. So we stay short. We stay short in the market. Below on the 50%, we still short. What we want is we want to break this level, right? We want to break this level, and we want to see if this actual level becomes very volatile. Why very volatile? Because usually it's very tight. It's very like all the way up dojis. Like you don't want to have all these dojis here, right here, doji, and then another doji here, because we don't like that. We want volatility. We want swings up and down so we can know what the range is, right? So make sure. So far, I don't want to time anything. I don't want to say, hey, this is heavy. Then they're making another low here, right? So this is heavy, and then this one is heavy. Then this one is heavy, right? And what they're trying to do, they're trying to make me think that they want to go up, but actually that impulse there, it's giving me that impression that it was ready to go to the downside, right? So it's kind of like going A, B, C, up, down. Okay, so this one, if we cut it into 4 hours, maybe something like that, or maybe 1 hour or something, right? So it goes like A, B, C, up, bam. No time for me to talk to you. What I want is all the way down, and they're trying to make to the 485s, right? It's not that we want. If I do have positions in SPY on the long term, it's not that I want, but as a trader, I don't want that. As an investor, I would love that. See what I mean? So remember that there's investors and traders out there, because we want to make sure that we get a good deal when we're buying. So look at those levels. Remember that we always have to think that this is gonna fail, right? That this is going to go against us if we think that this short it's gonna fail. So we need to think if it's gonna go to the upside. The best thing is, hey, if you reclaim the T line, you have moments to look for, levels to work for. You have this one and this one, right? So we got that head and shoulders kind of formation right now, right? So we have this shoulder and we got this head. So if we trade above the 508, that will be awesome to hold the T line, okay? So we can have that pullback and all the yada yada that we love, and then we go to the upside. But so far, we're heading down. We're still heading down. Today was a complete decision day for them, and hey, still going down. So on the QQQ side of things, same explanation, guys. Look, we go down the T line. I'm using 15 minutes, try to reclaim, and nothing. This T line is still on that formation. The other thing that I wanted to show you is the sectors. So I want to see all the sectors, how they're looking, right? So we have the energy sector on the daily. It's heading on that correction ABC. Beautiful, because here they might have a fight and they go to the upside on my Ichinisans, right? Same thing here. I have the XLF financials. Financials is the same as the market. It's heading down A, B, C. So maybe this is A, B, and C will be lower. Same thing here. We got the, well, this is the financial. This is the communications, right? Same thing, still below the T line. We have the G's, which is this is the top 50 ETFs. So same thing, below the T line, below the T line, below the T line, all of them below the T line, right? Like this one is the utilities. So if you want to be long, go check the utilities. If you want a high probability trade, go short, because you have 1, 2, 3, this is the same, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 sectors are negative. We're below the T line. So go as a trader, go with them. As an investor, you might have a good opportunity with all this, because they're very oversold in the areas, and you might see some opportunities. But on the trading side of things on long, go to the utilities. Check the utility ETF. Check, you can go into Finviz and check, hey, give me all utilities. Which ones are those, right? So on the, this is XLU. So we can take it here. We take XLU. So my software give me all of them and say, hey, the utilities are going up. Why utilities are going up? What's going on? Are there any good trades there? You know, energies, some of the energies there, AES, DUC. This one looks amazing. Look at that, how he breaks out that area, goes, takes liquidity, and he wants to go to the upside. What's going on with those? Let's analyze those trades. So all these are weeklies. This is amazing. Look, level. You have a whole correction, a fight, a switch. This is going 37, 36. Because we love to do this thing on the elite side of things. Look at that. So if you have those, you might see levels of, let me see, 37, 36. Beautiful formation if this thing wants to break out. We've seen this before many times. So why not believe it that we've seen it before? And in the other side of things, just to wrap it up, is the UVXY, which is the 30 days put to call ratio of the market. So on the weekly, we are below the T line. This thing is completely subdued. You know, they did obviously the split, but look, it's subdued below. There's no fear in the market for the next 30 days or so. So far, today could not reclaim the T line. And on the monthly side of things, it's completely negative. I want to have a trigger on the half price of the last month to tell me, hey, you're completely out of fear in the market for the downside. So far, this gives you a like a round down of the market. There you go, like, well, the market is down, the market is bearish, the put to call ratio is bearish. So it gives you like, okay, there's something going on that it's not that clear. Try not to make sense. I heard someone in the chat room this morning said, oh, nothing makes sense. Well, try not to make sense. These things you don't need to make sense. So use those lines for your own benefit. SPY, I think it's a beautiful formation to the upside. As far as we hold those midpoints of the weeks, if we reject those midpoints here, that's a good short. If we go all the way up here, that's a completely clear skies. So let that this week settle. We are on a good rejection for the market. Let's see what the investors will do. Usually they say that it gives 2 days of trading after the decision has made for big investors to jump in and make some trades. So if you see tomorrow that all of a sudden this thing it's running upside really high, be very, very careful, because they might be running into a trap, right? That you said on the third day, right here all the way up, and then you have a perfect Ichi to go into the impulse down. So be very aware of that. We want to take levels out. We want to take this level as much as we can and hold that level to go to the long side. So far, let's stay short on the market. It's been beautiful, man. GIA, same things,
right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you, Blast, for that update. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Things. So on the Bitcoin side, same thing. Look, Bitcoin is kind of correlated with what the market is doing. I think the beta on Bitcoin is 1. Whatever the market is doing, Bitcoin is doing it. We are below the T line. It was a beautiful formation that it goes to the 34 and rejected on the daily, but we are on a good spot. If you think about it, let's say you were here on 48,000. 48,000 all the way up here, right? Going straight up and then completely short off all the way down to 39, 38. We have those opportunities towards the safety line, and that was a perfect moment to buy into the long term. And so don't miss those opportunities. Right now, we have a great opportunity to add into long-term investments. Okay. Just don't get me wrong on, hey, you told us long-term investment and all of a sudden I spike from 20 to 29, but I went down to, I don't know. This one actually held on higher high, but let's see this one, for example, and say, hey, this is a good opportunity. And all of a sudden I'm finding myself on the same spot. Should I buy? Should I sell? Should I buy more? Is this an opportunity or is this just breakdown, right? So remember that on this line, it's where you find your opportunities. If you have the guts to say, hey, I'm buying prices below the 144 daily, it's insane. And if you have a big portfolio, you can go into the weekly side of things and say, hey, I only buy Bitcoin when it's around the 144. When it's around here, I'll buy some 33s, right? When it's around that area, 27s I buy. Go down, hopefully it goes down more because it come back and there, right? So when you're taking your decisions here, then here is when you said, that's actually nothing. That's actually from 72 to 60. But my opportunities have come in my portfolio that every time this thing runs and it comes back to my 144 on the weekly, I put 500K. I'm talking about big investment guys making decisions as a weekly. I'm going to put there, and then I'm going to put another 100 there, and then I'm going to wait another 200 there, another 500 there. Great opportunity. Waiting. Oh my God, it left. No opportunities. All right, let it play out. So that's basically kind of like what Saylor is doing. Michael Saylor is just waiting for those opportunities for that when he falls. I don't know if you guys remember when this one happened. Everybody's like, the guy is nuts. He's buying and all. The Salvadorian president was like, yeah, this is beautiful. This is gonna help the economy and everything. Everyone's like, these guys are wrong, completely wrong. For months they were wrong, and after years they were right. So that's the beauty of investments. Okay, so make sure you take those decisions on clear minds, clear risk. Right now, there's an opportunity that it's actually showing up into the 34. They showed up here, waiting for that to happen. What we want is to hold this. Hopefully, we can hold this. That's on BTC. The other one that I want to close up is ETH. I want to see how ETH is looking. Great opportunities here on the sides. Right now, it's bearish. Okay, remember, we have high, lower high, lower high. They keep lowering that. But remember, when you have, and I always like to give this samples, because when you have a chart like this, remember that you have a big block of sellers here. Let's say you have 1,000, right? 1,000 sellers. All those sellers right here, right now, they're going to add from those 1,000s, you're going to have 500 sellers, right? And from those right here, you're going to have 300 sellers. They're going to run out. It's going to run out. And when it comes to a point that they find themselves in a wedge, and I think that's why wedges happen, like when you have stuff like that, that it goes up, down, and it goes into one point and said, okay, who has more people, you or you? Simple as that. And that's why we make decision in this point. It's either up or down, but tell me, where should I go? Okay, so make sure right now they're building a book, they're building a correction, they're building a whole scalability, and say, hey, can you guys scale this to the upside? Yes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna expand it and let's go up. Expand it, let's get as much as people in, and let's go up. So think about that. Wedges happen because of that. ETH and Bitcoin and Litecoin. I wanted to give out Litecoin because it's always the weird guy in the pack. It's always faster than the other ones. We don't know why. So right now, for example, if you take a look right now daily, look at how this doji looks very bullish. Bitcoin, it's completely red, and ETH is completely red. I think so, right? ETH as well. It's all, well, this one's still hammer red, but the only green is LTC. So LTC is usually the weird guy of the pack. When I like to look at those three, make sure you do that. Get that crypto heat map on your charts, get those weeklies, and say, hey, I'm gonna trade this week. I feel like I want to make some money. Okay, so let me see the performance of the week. Well, right now the week has been only 2 days, but let's see a month. All right, let's see. So this is the month. What should I be, long or short? Short. Everybody's negative. All right, so I'm just gonna take this out. I want to see who's negative around here, and which one I could, maybe Cardano. I can do ADA USD. I go here, ADA USD. All I gotta do is say, hey, are you below the T line? Yes. Are you a downtrend right here on pulling back to the T line? Beautiful. So you are trending. I want to trend with you on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, as soon as you get to here, I'm gonna short you. I'm gonna short here. Short. This is a beautiful moment to short. So think about that. If you don't like to go short on just T line, wait for this kind of movements to happen, and wait for that to break down there. Maybe you feel more comfortable saying, what if this thing goes here? Then my stop will be T line. It's up to you. I rather take it very close to it, because I will be wrong quicker, instead of I'm here, oh, I'm wrong, oh man, I'm wrong, but I have to wait, and then all the way I'm here, yeah, I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So it's up to you the way you like to trade, but if you see your patterns, go ahead and do it. So far, everything is it's on the downside, and we have strategies to do that. Yeah, go ahead, Fody.
All right, Blast, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that update. All right, so I understand Blast has to go to a meeting, right? Okay.
Yeah, guys, take it easy, man.
All right, so let's go into a couple things. How are the markets doing right now? Yeah, the Fed came out. There's no, obviously there's there's looking like there's not going to be any rate cuts for this year, at least. Jerome Powell said himself that he doesn't have the confidence yet to determine any rate cuts, and he doesn't know when that will be. Which is which is not great. But he also said, and this is why the market pumped a little bit during his speech, he also said that he was going to loosen up on quantum tightening. Again, what's quantum tightening? Basically, quantum tightening is what's making it hard to lend money. He's loosening that up because he needs people to spend money in the economy. Um, and that's, that's semi good news when it becomes easier to borrow money. Now let's talk on what's going on with crypto. I mean, we're still it is the buy zone for me right now. Like I'm in buy mode 100%. What are some things that I'm looking at? Here we go. All right. First thing we're going to talk about is runes. What runes am I looking at? I'm primarily looking at picking up some RSIC Genesis runes. Uh basically the first project to kind of kick off this whole rune thing. Yeah, they're not the first runes to be etched or whatever, but these guys are pretty much laying the standard for runes. They're they've they've gone down a little bit since yesterday. I think we might, I'm probably gonna pick some up today. Like, guys, remember, like, these are sold into lots over here, so obviously you find the quantity that you want. You can't just like buy one or two or three. These are all lots. So if I want a lot of 2,940 runes, $38, or RS rune coin, just call it rune coin. That, that's how I'd buy it. Just be wary of pending buys on whatever you buy. It shouldn't let you buy if there's a pending buy on it, but still be careful. Front running does happen in runes. Is there other runes I'm looking at? Maybe some Satoshi Nakamoto, since obviously that's the OG name, and I could see the popularity behind it. I know Hayden mentioned Fihu. This is actually the first rune etch, so probably that would probably be a safe bet as well. But yeah, that's as far as what I'm looking at for runes. Now, as far as Solana NFTs, market's still a little bit down. Yeah, you have some projects here and there that are kind of doing a little pump here and there or whatever, maybe based on an announcement, but I still don't think we're out of the woods yet. But there's still some, some pretty good pickups. Tensorians, I still think, are pretty cheap for what they're at. Clanosaurs for sure. Clanosaurs is kind of like a no brainer for me, to be honest. Those are the ones I'll probably pick one of these up either tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, that's just to name a couple off the top of my head. Maybe Bodagos, because their community so cool. I know Portals is having an airdrop soon, and they're airdropping to a ton of communities that you're probably a part of from the past. And yeah, that's pretty much. But other than that, we're still bleeding quite a bit. Even if you look at ETH NFTs right here, like they just went right back down. Like, this is just kind of gross, actually. But yeah, I mean, we're still, but these are discounts to me. As far as ordinals, as in Bitcoin NFTs, there is one that I know I've preached in the past, and yes, it has dipped, but I honestly think people are really not paying attention to this, and they're getting pretty cheap. I think $1,600 for Nat Cats is almost free, to be honest. Now, I don't want to say that, and then it just dip a lot lower because the market's getting slaughtered right now. But if this is like a comfortable entry for you, and to me, it's getting pretty comfy. Yeah, I'm thinking about hitting the buy soon on these as well. And I for the longest time, the FUD that it wasn't completely on chain, but look, Magic Eden has corrected themselves. The metadata and everything on this is completely stored on chain. These are going to be pretty OG when it comes to ordinals, and I would not sleep on them. But yeah, other than that, meme coins are getting slaughtered. One thing I want to talk about with meme coins is this too, guys. It's like it's yeah, if there's one thing I learned is, if you're in a good meme and it's down like 60-70%, and it's a solid meme, don't sell the dust. There always comes a point in time during a bull where, when you least suspect it. I know it's a this is not an analytical way to look at things, but like from what I've seen, these OG memes or these good memes that are just getting thrashed because the market's doing bad tend to at some point in time during the bull just start ripping again. So there's no point to selling the dust if it's, you know, damn near zero already. Let's talk about, you know, meme coin that was pretty vocal on was Brett too. You know, Brett, a lot of the people in this Discord were, you know, were liked Brett as well. You know, they recently, and Brett's on base. They recently had a, you know, they reached a $800 and something million market cap, and then recently some huge FUD came out about them how the team owned 80% of the supply. And you know, that didn't really sit well with anybody, as it shouldn't. But if we actually go to deck screener, it's kind of bouncing back a little bit, and there's still a ton of people that are vocal about it, but I kind of don't trust the people that are vocal about it because I feel like they're just trying to save, you know, maybe save their bags, or you know, try to, you know, and the people talking about them are obviously like crypto influencers that portray themselves as, you know, $1 million traders. You know, so keep in mind there's always a lot of bad actors in meme coins. But yeah, I mean, just the other day, this market cap's low because obviously the market's getting trashed. Just the other day, the liquidity was 150,000 with a $330 million market cap. Like, that didn't make sense. You know, people were pulling their, and this was in the Uniswap pool, you know, a pretty popular pool. But now, you know, now starting there's starting some liquidity to flow into it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got when it comes to crypto and Web3. Any, you know, make sure you guys are staying on top of the airdrops. I know Magic Eden just started rewarding diamonds. If you were buying ordinals, I just got some diamonds rewarded. You know, that's probably going to be an airdrop in the past. And yeah, just Blast. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. You know, a lot of people are starting to sleep on Blast a little bit because, you know, it's funny how it works. It's you know, you Blast will announce something and then people will start farming it, and then, you know, and then time goes on and they get a little stagnant. But then, like, you know, if you read like the print and everything on like when everything's actually dropping, which is like in May, and now it starts coming closer to it, people are starting to talk about Blast again. And while people weren't talking about Blast again, people weren't farming. So now, you know, if you stayed on top of it and you're still farming Blast Gold or whatever, you should have something nice coming towards you. And now, you know, obviously Blurred.io supports Blast, as you can see right there. But yeah, if you can, you know, if you have the means, please dabble in the Blast ecosystem and try to get some Blast Gold for the airdrop. And that's pretty much all I have for Web3 stuff. If anybody has any questions, please let me know right now. If not, we're going to call it a day.